All right. Let's talk about drag. Are you allowed to talk about drag race?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I've signed a non-disclosure agreement. They can sue me if they want to.
All right.
Let them sue me.
What's the most asked question you get about RuPaul's Drag Race?
What does Michelle Visage's vagina taste like? Which I think, quite frankly, is rude. But my mother does ask the poignant questions. She fancies herself to a Barbara Walters. No, the most asked question. What's RuPaul like? Maybe, or did you have fun? Or, what was it like meeting Lady Gaga? That's a big one.
Ooh. Oh, I bet. Yes, yes. So you were on that season with a bunch of names. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the most winning season ever. Sasha, of course, won, and then Trinity won All Stars. Shea Coulee has won All Stars. Eureka O'Hara is on All Stars. So yeah, it's a pretty it's a pretty winning season. Excuse me if it's after 7 p.m. here in the United Kingdom, and I'm required by law to drink gin.
You go right ahead. All right, so on RuPaul, you were eliminated rather early. Why do you think you were eliminated?
Because I broke my rib doing cheerleading. So the second week. Now, mind you, I'm the oldest contestant to have ever competed on RuPaul's Drag Race in history. And they just thought, wouldn't it be fun if we made the old bat do cheerleading? I mean, they were making me do cartwheels. They were asking me to do things I haven't done since my junior prom. And that was in the back of a what was it, a Dodge Dart Swinger Special. But yeah, so it was the cheerleading challenge just killed me. I was lifting Shea Coulee, someone half my age. I had to lift him up in the air, not 20 times, not 30, like close to 40 times during rehearsals. And on the day that we actually filmed the cheerleading thing, what people don't know is that whenever they do one of those great big dance routines or like a big set piece number, they show the choreographer working with the dancers and then them getting it wrong. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do this. And they struggle and they start, and then they turn the cameras off. And then they rehearse, they change the choreography, they break it down for you, they make it easy, and you rehearse it for a couple of days. So that's what happened to us. You saw us first doing the cheerleading on a Thursday, and then we rehearsed all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and we filmed it on Monday. And on the second time through on filming lifting Shake, I thought I got kneed. I thought he like hit me in the knee, and it was just my rib cracked. And so from that point on, I was duct taping my rib, and I just struggled from that point on. So c'est la vie. Things you don't always get what you want. Sometimes you just get what you get.
So that's interesting because it looks like, okay, today's challenge is boom. So you practice it in the morning and then they film it at night, you know? It's hard to get a time.
Yeah. It's become those big set pieces like the musicals, you know, when they do the Rusical, those have been rehearsed for several days, this choreography, and it's like they're making television. So they want it to look like it happened like that. And then they want you to be surprised and by look how polished it is and look how good it is. Look at all the stunts and the flips. Yeah. Several. I probably shouldn't say that. Yeah, we rehearsed for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's all we rehearsed.
So were you able to do Snatch Game that season?
I was not.
What would you have done if you had?
I have very few regrets in life. Very few regrets. And that is one that I didn't get to do. I didn't get to do Snatch Game.
Who would you have done during Snatch Game?
I brought Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, with me, which oddly enough, this hair just looks like a blue version of that right now. I think I brought Sharon Osbourne with me, and I brought Joan Rivers.
Has anyone done Joan Rivers?
No Americans have. I saw somebody do it in Canada and wasn't impressed. But yeah, my Joan is pretty legendary.
Well, can I meet her?
I wasn't. Well, you've obviously met her plastic surgeon.
That's fine. So what are some?
Well, with Joan, you just have to start with it. You know, I mean, everybody. This is the thing. I did Joan as a professionally for years, and what I did was I wrote material that was topical. Even after Joan died, I would write material that was, what would Joan say about this, or what would Joan say about what's going on in the news. But the thing about Joan is, I mean, it starts with the voice. Oh, can we talk? And she talked like this. Oh, look at you! You've got the scarf on, aren't you? You look like a Republican housewife that's about to go to the NRA. That's what you look like. Yes, in front of a brick wall. Just line him up and shoot him. You know, Joan had a very distinct point of view, very distinct comedy style, very distinct voice. So it was always really easy for me to slip into her when I was. So I know I would have been able to ad lib. And I was at a drag con in Los Angeles a couple of years ago. I was on a board. What's it called? Yeah, I guess it's a board. Panel. That's the word. That's the word I was looking for. I was looking for a panel. I was on a panel, and I don't know who it was. Somebody just asked me a question. What was your Joan like? And I just started ad-libbing, and I did a whole like 7-minute routine, and all of my fellow panelists, which is, you know, it was Eureka and Cynthia Lee Fontaine and James Mansfield, and they were just howling, laughing, and they were just, keep going. And I was like, no, I'm done. No, keep going. On the bus ride back to the hotel, they were telling me things that I had said that I didn't even remember saying.
Just channeling.
Yeah, well, it might have been the edibles. It was California at the
time. So, who are some of your other favorite characters?
Well, on my YouTube channel, I've done like 70, 80 characters. Celebrities. I've always loved when I do Cher, because my take on Cher was, I didn't want to do an exact impersonation of Cher. And the sort of angle, you know, look at when you watch Saturday Night Live, they take one thing about somebody's personality and they hook it, you know, that's the hook, that's the way into the character. That, like, whether it's Tina Fey doing when she did Sarah Palin, or, you know, they find that one thing that they might accentuate and crank up. I took the position that Cher was so famous that she didn't really know or care who anybody was, and that she would do it for a laugh. So in the Charlie Hides world on YouTube, I imagine that Madonna, Cher, Lady Gaga, Liza Minnelli, Joan Rivers, Sharon Osbourne, Lana Del Rey, all the famous people regularly hung around together at a place called Divas Anonymous, or they would hang out at Cher's house for book club, or they would braid each other's hairs and play Jenga. And that when these different celebrities would call her up to say, hey, Cher, did you hear what's going on? You know, oh, this is in the news. Because I would write the shows, I would write each episode like within an hour of filming. Like I would write it on a Monday or Tuesday and then film right away and then upload it on Wednesday. So all the jokes were topical, like Saturday Night Live. And they would call up Cher and they'd say, you know, Cher, did you hear this? You know, what's going on? Did you hear Lady Gaga slapped a policeman or whatever? And Cher would say, who? Like she never knew who anybody was. Hey, oh, Cher, it's me, Joan Rivers. Who? Hi, it's me, Lana Del Rey. Who? And then, you know, they'd have to say, I won an Academy Award, or, you know, they'd have to give her all these. No, never heard of you. And she was cantankerous, and she'd hang up on them, and I just had fun with it, and that was my version of Cher. And for better or worse, it got a laugh. It made me laugh, and that's all that matters.
So have you heard any of the people that you impersonate?
I have indeed.
Spill some tea.
Well, from a lot of them. Cher famously started following Twitter about 7 years back when she only followed like 78 people. I was number 79. I'd heard from her vocal coach here in London that she had been watching my videos, and that she and her sister and some of her friends were doing impersonations like they would mimicking my impersonation of Cher. And Cher thought it was funny. And so when Cher, she was being interviewed by somebody, I think it might have been when she was in Australia. And they asked her who her favorite impersonator was of her. And she said me. And it's in print.
How exciting.
So yeah, and she complimented, she's talked about my videos on YouTube and that I was doing Madonna and Lady Gaga and then Lady Gaga was very complimentary when I met her. And I apologized to her about all the videos I made. She said, "No, don't worry, honey. I think they're hysterical. You're so funny." That's my Gaga impersonation. But yeah, people have been very kind, and I know that Madonna has seen my videos as well. But
all right, so you've done that. You've done RuPaul. You've done the clubs. You've done tours. Now you're playing bingo.
Well, yeah. Well, why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be? Interesting story about bingo and Provincetown, my favorite place on earth, is so back in early 90s, I was performing 6 nights a week doing my show Boys R Us. And my friend David Flower, who does all the circuit parties there, the summer camp parties, he was doing his regular club nights at the Crown and Anchor. And he said it would be really fun on Tuesday nights, my 1 night a week off, if we did gay bingo. And I said, I agreed to it. And, there was money involved. And he said, free drink tickets. So I said, yes. And so I agreed to it. But then on the day, I was like, oh, I just can't get into glamour drag again. I've been running around with the big blonde hair and everything. So I went into my drag room. I called him up. I said, can I just show up as a character? He said, show up however you want. So I went into my drag room and I started pulling on these different accessories. And like that, I created a character called Angelina Tortelloni. And in my head, she was the widow from East Boston. You know the houses in East Boston where they have the Madonna on the half shell patron saint of bathtubs. Those.
Oh yes.
Yeah, with the harvest gold aluminum siding, and I
Mary
decided,
on the half shell. Yes.
Exactly, Mary on the half shell. So I decided that Angelina Tortelloni would smoke Virginia Slims. She'd be a widow. She'd have 2 kids from Angela. What was the kid's name? Sabino. I can't remember. From Angela, and she'd hey, how you doing? My name is Angelina Tortelloni from East Boston. My son is Sabino. He's a stupid boy. And I did all this age makeup. When I showed up at the bingo and started doing it, they didn't know who I was. All these queens that knew Candy came. Look at who is that little old Italian lady? Where did David get her? And so if somebody asked me a question, I would answer in character. And all of a sudden, kind of like I was the antenna. I could ad lib, I could answer, I could tell you. And as I'm doing this bingo night, different people in the room, I knew them. I'd known them for years. So I would tell them gossip about themselves. I would make fun of them and their ex-boyfriend. Like, how does this old lady know this? And that began my love affair with bingo. And I did it that summer. And then when I moved to England, I took a hiatus from bingo. And a couple of years ago, I just started doing it again and started having a lot of fun. And I could, there are no rules. I can just do whatever I want. And so I started doing bingos before the pandemic, in theaters and big venues. And I actually had a whole sold out tour booked, and then the pandemic hit. And I thought, what am I going to do? Here in the United Kingdom, we were shut down for 6 weeks. After refunding all the tickets, my eyes were bloodshot from crying. I was like, I got to do something for 6 weeks. So I thought, okay, well, I'll try to see if I can do bingo online. And I did, and it's been a huge success. And
very
I've
good.
got the most successful bingo in the world. Thank you very much. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that is so cool. So what do you want to do now? Now that the pandemic is over,
It's not over. Have you heard of something called the Delta variant? Oh,
I live in Vermont.
There's an entire Greek alphabet of variants up the wazoo, just waiting to pounce. Well, right. So I'm going to be returning to live, doing a little theater in the West End called The Garrick, in the West End at the end of the month on July 31st. So yeah, just returning by going back to the West End. And after I do that, I've just got a solid, at the moment, I'm doing tons and tons of corporates online. So what happened was I had started doing these bingos, and then I started getting calls and emails from what I call the gay mafia. Gay men that I've known over the years, met on cruises, or that knew from shows, who were in the HR department at Google, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, all these big Disney, and just saying, all of our employees are stuck at home. We're all working from home. We want to do something fun. So I started doing like team social. What's the word I'm looking for? Team socials, team building. Cocktail happy hours on a Friday, bingos, quizzes, game shows, you name it. And the word started to spread. And so I never advertised, never marketed. I just answered phone calls and put bookings in the diary. And so if you had asked me about this a year ago, like, did you think you were going to be interviewing people on the internet 16 months ago?
No.
Did you, when you first did your first interview, did you think you'd still be doing? Did you think you'd be scraping the bottom of the barrel? Who is this blue-haired freak, and why am I talking to her?
Here, 68 weeks later, I get to
you. Exactly, and that's what it's been like for me with corporates. Today I just finished a show for a huge accountancy firm. It's an international accountancy firm. This was my 6th or 7th that I've done for them, and so. Like I said, companies like Netflix and Google and Microsoft and Amazon, they've got so many different departments and so many different time zones. I'll do the European office, and I'll do the London office, and I'll do the East Coast office, and I'll do the Chicago office. And my day starts, early in the afternoon doing things in the European market, then the UK, and then, take a break. And then all of a sudden it's 4:00 in the afternoon in New York, and then it's 4:00 in LA, and it's midnight here in England. And there's worse ways.
And I have a feeling they pay you in more than drink tickets. Is that?
This plastic surgery on an 89-year-old woman to make them look 60 ain't cheap.
Oh, yeah, no. I tell you. Okay, you said you have a birthday. We're filming this on July 8th, but you said you had a birthday on the 12th. How many candles could be on that cake? I don't know.
Right, well, by then, I will already have had my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Charlie. Happy birthday to me. Woo, thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, does each one of those candles indicate a decade, or?
Each one is a millennia.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Charlize, thank you so much for coming into my basement to talk to me.
Is that where I am?
Yes, you're in my basement.
I was told this would be a penthouse interview. Had I known,
had
I been alerted that you were a troglodyte, I would have.
That's one of the nicest things I've been called. When I'm in P-Town during Carnival, I'll look at all those cameras and I'll wave to you.
It's the one. It might be called Laffy Taffy. It's beside Town Hall. If you're looking at Town Hall, it's to the right. It's where they do the saltwater taffy. There's a camera right up there, so just wave to that one or the one about Spiritus.
Will do. Well, thank you so much, and
you're very welcome.
Have fun with the bingo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good to talk to you.
Yes. Bye. Yes. Bye. That was too much. Thank you so much, Charlie, for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to Amber LeMay.